So this video is going to be talking about mix-ups. I said I would go over the neutral game, but I'm actually going to go over mix-ups first. I think this is where people tend to fail a lot in this game. Is the opponent just kind of like jumps at them and just like destroys them via just offense. And I'd like to make one video where I explain how to go on the offense, and then from that I determine how to beat offense. The first thing I'm going to be going over, in other words, is I'm going to be talking about offense first and what makes a good offense in this game, and then I'm going to be going over a good defense and how that relates to the opponent's offense. I don't have notes for this. I tried to make notes for this. There's really no way to go about this in like a systematic manner. So I'm just gonna go into it raw, as some would say. And I'm gonna pick characters that I think people tend to have trouble with. Mr. Karate. You know, always pick pink Mr. Karate. Make sure the image is off the screen this time. So, first off, how do you establish an offense? This is going to touch on the neutral game a little bit, but there are many ways to establish offense. So for the purpose of this video, I'm going to be assuming, boom, this happens. I'm going to be assuming that suddenly you're in the opponent's face and you're blocking something, right? So pretend that you're the pink one, right? And they're pressuring you. So if the opponent does one light attack, they have a couple of options, and I've covered most of these generally, or like scattered throughout the videos, but this should be like a compilation of all of them and how they all fit together. So if you block something, first of all, what is this on block? Looks to be even. Most crouching Bs are 0 or -1. So if you block one crouching B, the problem is even though it's 0, he can chain. So you know, you kind of have to block. Well, you don't have to do anything really. Also, for the purpose of this first section, I'm going to be ignoring meter. Obviously, if they have meter, they can just cancel out of it and get out of your offense. So that's one option that you have. If you don't understand what's going on with the guard cancels, go check out the yeah, I think it's the last video that I made, tying up loose ends. Oh no, it's two vids ago, called tying up loose ends, and that's where I talk about guard cancels. So this is going to be talking about other options that aren't guard cancels. So if you block one and you choose to block again, what do you as the aggressor have? Some characters have command grabs. That's one. But I want to go over things that aren't specific to characters. So one option you have is walk-up throw. And again, I've talked about the low throw mix-up. This is identical to the low throw mix-up. If you do that little walk forward and they stand up to tech the throw, you can hit them with a low. And this is why you need to know your low confirms. This is why you need to know your low confirms. So if you don't know what a low confirm is, crouch random guard. And if it hits, you go into a combo. If they block, you don't. So that's one way you can open up your opponent, is with the low throw mix-up. Another way you can open up the opponent is with a frame trap, and there's a couple of ways to frame trap. Remember that to throw the opponent and to get this low throw mix-up to actually work, as is meant, you need to scare them into blocking for like a very long period of time when they don't need to. So one way to make them block is to frame trap with a quick normal. Now low B is actually 0 on block, which means that you need to press like as quick a button as possible, but there's a chance they'll get out. So if you want to frame trap, you'll want to use a normal that is plus on block, which is typically jabs. So this is plus. Notice that the one that attacked jumped first. And this is very general, but for most characters, their jabs, they don't hit low, but they're plus on block, which means that you can do frame traps off of them. Another thing that could... Okay, so in an earlier video, I mentioned that this game is a generally offensive game, and what I meant by that is overall, or on average, the aggressor will have advantage over the one that's being aggressed upon. And this is just like a mathematical fact. Like, you're going to see throughout all these scenarios that I talk about and how to counter them, that defense doesn't really get much. The only one that's going to get like combos and has like the freedom to do basically whatever they want is the aggressor. So on the defense, your goal should be to first stop their offense and then get your own offense. So going back to the scenario, I talked about the low throw mix-up, and I mentioned ways to frame trap. If you do a low hit, a low hit, you can still frame trap because of chains. Notice that he's set to... This is a low. Hold on. It is, okay. Like, if you chain quickly, it's a block string and it's not a frame trap. But if you do it slowly, it becomes a frame trap. So what you can do is you can do stuff like this. And it's going to catch people who are trying to hit buttons or who are trying to jump or anything. Or like just somehow trying to get away. So this is why you need to confirm off of 2 hits. And this is... I mentioned in the last video, the one about picking your characters and with the practice, I mentioned 2-hit confirms. You need to be able to confirm off of 2 hits, because you can confirm off of 3 hits, and often you'll actually get more damage by doing so. However, you don't get access to this mix-up. That is a legitimate mix-up, is when you do low B, then low B, and stand B. Notice, if he's just... If I do that and he doesn't get hit by the second hit, then like... If he gets hit by the first hit, the second hit doesn't combo because of how I'm chaining it. And that's what you want. That's, like, you're not always fishing for hits like in Street Fighter. In Street Fighter, you would just kind of like go for links and chains, and then confirm if they hit. That's a very simple way of thinking. You can do this, and if the hits go into your combos, or you could intentionally leave gaps where the opponent might try to get out. And that's how you frame trap off of things that aren't plus on block. For things that are plus on block, this also links. Maybe. Actually, I think the Kuma... Yeah, okay. So this is a link. Not much you can get off of it. Except maybe that. Or like a super or something. Or... Actually, I would do this. That's off topic. So that's one option. So just to recap very quickly, low B, throw, low B, delayed low B for the low throw mix-up, low B chain. If they have an advantage, they can do a close normal to try and catch you. If they hit, they can go into whatever combo they choose. And another option you might see a lot is just people do this a lot, where they just run up, you know, and they just hit buttons, and then they just run up at you again. And the thing that you need to remember is that's 0 on block, and they're running at you. So as soon as they begin running, you can just hit a button, and it'll catch them as they're trying to get to you. The only problem is they can frame trap even from that distance. Some characters are better at this than others, particularly Kyo. His standing hard kick is really good. Most characters can do this with their standing CDs, because standing CDs typically hit very far and are cancelable on block. But they're slower, so you might be able to hit something like really long range and counter hit them or whatever. But that's getting into like more character specific matchup stuff. Like going back to one low B, and one thing that people do is it kind of ties into the low throw mix up is the low B walk up low B, which is basically the same thing as the low throw mix up, except when you do the low throw mix up, you'll typically go for a hit confirm like this, where you mix up between walk up throw. Wow. Walk up throw and hit confirming. But they don't have to do that. They can just do this all day. Be like, hey, where's your defense at? Is it just blocking? Because it's not doing anything. But you also need to know that they don't have to do 1. They can do 2, and then run up throw. They could do 2, and then walk up frame trap like this, or maybe they can do a string but delay the 3rd hit and confirm off that. Excuse me. Like that. Let me turn on my inputs so that you can see what I'm doing. So basically all of the same options apply for 1 low B, 2 low Bs, 3 low Bs, rehops. Don't forget about rehops. Oh, and one thing that I forgot to mention is the trip guard in the last video. I meant to put that in there, but I didn't. So I'll go over that later. So if you're aggressing on the opponent, which if you want to figure out how to get, like, again, the game starts here. How do you get from here to here without being hit by something? Well, you saw one option is to run, but there are others, and I'm going to go over those options in future videos when I talk about the neutral game. But this is after that. This is after you've gotten in, and now you're hitting buttons, and now you really don't know what to do aside from go for combos. Oh, he blocked. What do I do now? Sweep. And okay, so let's recap your options from 3 pokes. Frame trap, running grab. I told you how to do a running grab in I don't remember what video it was, but it's an earlier video from like yesterday. 3 pokes, run up low, and run up throw. There's the low throw mix up again. You can do rehop. You can do, let's see. Mr. Karate in particular can do this, which is a very good option. He can actually cancel into this, and if he does this one, he can actually kind of almost maintain the offense, although it's punishable. And lastly, there are character-specific options, such as running command grabs, or like Takuma would run up first then grab you. What I do a lot when I'm like in round 1, I'll do this, and I'll wait and see how they react. So that transitions us to the other side. What if you're the pink one, and all of a sudden you're the one being aggressed upon? So what do you do if someone's running at you? Say they do this, and they go for a throw. You could take the throw, but that's not really beating them out. You're just going back to neutral. If you know they're going to run at you, you can hit a button and stop them, because the low B is 0 and block. And really, this is this process I'm going about right now is the entirety of this game is, well, this player could do this, so how do I beat it? In fact, that should be the entirety of every fighting game, is, well, my opponent keeps doing this, do I know a counter to it? Or my opponent's doing this, what can I do to either stop it, punish him for doing it? Can I react to it, or is it a prediction? What's the best damage that I can get off of this? What's the best positioning I can get? Or is there a better option than what I'm currently doing? Or what could the opponent be doing to beat what I'm doing? And it's this interaction of options, and the thing that you need to visualize in terms of this game is, I'm player 1. I have option A, B, C, D, all the way through Z, plus some other stuff. Remember, there's this one, there's this one, like, there's an infinite number of things that you could do, and being able to understand how each option interacts with all your options is what makes you a good player, is honestly what makes your defense viable, is being able to be like, okay, I think he's going to go for this mix-up, or he's going to do this or that, and I know my options, my character's options, and I know how to just straight up beat it. This is, to my knowledge, a fact. If you know your opponent's going to do something, anything, there are at least 2 things that you can do meterless to beat it. Let me say that one more time. If you know for a fact that your opponent is going to do things, or a certain thing, there is at least 2 things that you can do to straight up beat it, no matter what character you are, no matter what character they are. And I can't think of one example where that's not the case. So what you need to understand, again, to recap, is player 1 has these options, player 2 has these options. Sometimes options are limited based on frame advantage, like if you have minus frames, maybe you can't do certain things, or maybe you're put in a position where you don't have a charge, or like something like that. You need to understand when the opponent's options are available, and you need to be able to predict, based on past experience with that character and that opponent, what they're going to do. The hard part, my job, is to teach you what options beat that option. So if you know they're going to jump, what do you do to beat the jump? So let's do this again here. Oops. Very common. Oh my god, he just re-hopped at me, and now I have to go for this low throw mix-up again. Jab it. Oh, too early. Boom, jab. Hard punch. Uppercut. That's not uppercut, but like, you get the point. If you think they're going to jump, every character in the game can jab. With Yuri, you'd probably want to use light kick instead because it's got a better angle on it, but if you know they're going to re-hop at you, then just jab them out of the air. And this is what I mean by active defense. You're never going to do this in Street Fighter. Would you honestly expect the opponent players to just whiff a standing jab at this range for any reason ever? Because this is not a reaction. You have to realize, this is not a reaction. If I react, I'm too late. Boom, it trades, and he wins that trade. Easily. I'm hitting it early. I'm hitting it as soon as the block stun ends, almost. For hard punch, I am hitting it as soon as the block stun ends. Boom. Hard kick. Like, this is not a reaction, this is a prediction. And this point right here, this is exactly where players just fail at this game. It's because they haven't been forced to do this before. They haven't been forced to make a decision. Like, oh my gosh. What if he doesn't jump? What if he does this? Ah, shoot. This is where players just fail. I tried to jab him out of the air, but he didn't re-hop, he swept me. Hard punch, no. Uppercut. I traded, actually. Hard kick, no. Standing jab, he hits me. And this point, this is where you need to think about, okay, am I actually doing this? Because this is the thing that's going to turn you from a new or a bad player into an intermediate player. This point right here, understanding this concept, is you need to do things when they might not work. You need to hit stand jab because you think he's going to jump with the knowledge that he might not. That's called a read. Wow, traded. Just because you made a bad read does not mean it was the wrong decision. Because he could have jumped. And if he did jump, that was the right decision, but you know. And it's so hard to emphasize this point enough. Is your mindset needs to not be, okay, I need to get him off of me as quick as possible, and if I don't, it's bad. Like, I'm trying to think of a way to put this, just to like top it all off. When you see Daigo doing this mid-screen and it hits, like, would any play, if you were to just ask any Street Fighter 4 player or Street Fighter 5 player if doing an uppercut mid-screen is ever a good idea, they're gonna say no, unless you're reacting to something. So when Daigo does it, why is it okay? Why is it when a bad player does this and it works, it was just random, but when Daigo does it, it was a read. It was an ume shoryu. And that's this whole concept of reads. Anyway. That's enough on that. Dagger doesn't play this game, so let's talk about your defensive options. So I showed this off. If they do this, what do? You can try and hit them, but they obviously you get knocked down anyway, and they can still pressure you. The answer is block. Like, what is trip on guard? Like -3 or 4 or 5. Like, if you block this, you're out. Some characters can punish. Even from this range. Mr. Karate in particular has this move, which is like -1. I'll say -2 or something. Yeah, minus like 2 or 3. So if you think they're gonna jump, hit them out of the air. If you think they're gonna run at you, hit them on the ground. If you think they're going to poke you, just block. Now, let's switch the roles back over again. If you think they're going to block, jump at them. Or run at them. If you think they're just going to block, then don't do that, because they're just going to get out. If you think that when they see you running forward, they're going to go for a throw tech, go low instead. And I'm going to pause here and kind of interlude with another tactic that you can use. Mr. Karate and Takuma are like the best at this. But watch this. Listen to the timing of this. Versus this. Depending on what normals you use and what timing you decide to string them together, your strings are going to be of different timings. And you're probably asking yourself right now, why is that important? This is important because of how fast the game is. How many seconds long is the string? Half a second, maybe, if you include all the blocks done. Like, you're not deciding at every single instant to do something, which is why you need to think ahead and make. It's why you need to make a choice before you actually execute that choice. So say you want to poke them out because you don't feel like going on offense right now because you have a huge life lead and you're ahead by a character and you want the time to run out or whatever, and you just want to do this just to get him away and go back to the neutral game, hop away, they can't do anything about that, whatever. What are the hits? And this is the part that confuses people, is you've made the decision to do this before it even began hitting them, right? So if it does hit, you can be like, oh, it hit and combo, but it's like, that's typically gonna look like this. And you'll see a lot of high-level players that tend to be defensive. They'll do that. They'll do some safe string and be like, oh, it actually hit, and then they'll drive cancel for a combo just to get a little bit of extra damage because may as well. Going back to the mix-ups here. If they frame trap you, all you have to do is block. which it's exactly the same as this. If they decide to do something like that, that's minus on block and they're pushed away, so you're back to neutral again. And in fact, you might even have advantage if you punish them. I'm trying to remember what I haven't gone over yet. If they go for a throw ever, you can just tag it, but there are ways around it because remember that the throw invulnerability means that if they ever try to throw you and you didn't quick rise, there's always a period where you can just like hit buttons and beat them out of it because of that extended invulnerability period. And that's basically, once you understand that it's not okay. Let me actually say this one more very important point, and then I'll be done. But like I said, there is a list of options for player 1. There's a list of options for player 2. Say you're player 1. Okay, so you know all your options because you watch these videos. You know how they interact with each other. You know how to predict. You know how to confirm. You know how to take advantage of your good reads. How do you think? And this is probably one of the most important things that you can actually do in this game, is understand how to think. And for the longest time, I had this problem where I would be like, okay, I blocked one low B. Now he's either gonna throw me or do a low, or he's gonna rehop. Oh, he did a second low B. Okay, now he can do this run up grab. And it's like, that's what I was thinking, but by the time I was done thinking, I was already in the ground because he threw me, blocking more hits. Like, I wasted too much time thinking, and I didn't actually do anything. So what you need to do is you need to make a decision without actually considering every single option. And this is what makes this game different from Street Fighter. If you're knocked down against Akuma in Street Fighter 4, and he demon flips at you at the perfect spacing, and you're like, okay, so he's either going to dive kick, or he's going to empty jump throw, like, he has a specific set of options to choose from, but it's very short. It's like three, maybe 4 or 5 things that he might do. And you just kind of know what beats what, and you guess accordingly. That's a guess, is when you can actually consider every single option and be like, okay, pick that one. That's called set play, is what that term means, is when you just make a decision and run with it. And there is set play to an extent in this game, but not ever truly set play, because there's always one way out of it, assuming that you made a decision like one step ahead. A read, like, I bet you can't even fathom, I can't even fathom every single possible option that I have from just a simple ground string. Like, I tried to, like, give you examples of, like, 1 then rehop, 2 then rehop, 3 then run up throw, 3 then run up low, or frame trap, or frame trap, or, you know, like, I tried to give you examples, but the thing that you need to know is that there's no way to be like, oh, in this scenario, Mr. Cardi has these options for this much meter. No, you can't think that way. You need to think, okay, I'm playing against a human, and he's going to make his own decision, and as a result, I'm going to make my own decision based on what I think he will do. And this is this is different than being like, okay, I am against Mr. Karate, a character, not a person. I'm against a character. These are his options. No, that's a completely different mindset, and it will not get you very far in this game like it will in other games. Even Tekken, it's kind of slow paced, and you kind of have to know your frame data. But in this game, it's too high of a skill cap to think that way. You can't be like, I said this like 20 times, but you can't. It's not possible to consider every single possible option at every single moment in time. One, because there's so many options, and two, because say there's only 2 options after each one of those low Bs. That's 2 times 2 times 2. So like, there's too many options multiplied upon too many options. So like, you can't just be like, you can't react to every single instant in time and make a decision that way, because if you try to do that, you're too late, and you haven't made a decision. Remember, the way to beat this was to hit a, oops. The way to beat this, oh frick, was to hit a jab really, really early. You had to have made, like, as soon as you started blocking something, as soon as you blocked like the first couple of attacks, you needed to be like, okay, I think he's going to do 3 attacks, then re-hop at me. It's a direct process. It's not, let's see, he can throw me, he jumped, I better hit a jab now. No, you can't think that way. Which is what makes this game different from others. Which is also why I like this game more than others. Which is also why I think people who want to play fighting games not just to win, and not just to play with their friends, or not just to, you know, get better at a game. Players who want to get better at fighting games need to play this game for this reason. Boom. Rant over, okay. And with that rant over, that is going to be the end of the video. That's all I wanted to talk about, was a couple of examples of aggression, and a couple of examples of how to fight aggression. There's no possible way for me to go over every single possible option for every character and every matchup, and how to counter that. It's not possible in one like 24-hour sitting. It's not possible. So what you need to do is, if you're having trouble with a particular matchup, go and watch your replays and see what people are doing, and be like, I wonder why I got hit by that and how I could have prevented it. And then in accordance, you go into training mode and you set the dummy to do it, and then you figure out a way to beat it with all your characters. That's called improving. So that took 40 minutes. Good. That's what I was aiming for. What else? I feel like I'm missing like a big chunk of what's important here. Watch your replays. This game lets you watch replays. Every single time you lose, save the replay and go watch it, and see what went wrong, and see how you could have bettered yourself in order to not lose. Because every single time you lose, there's something that's wrong, or something that you don't do that the opponent does, or something bad that you do that the opponent does not do, and there's just some error in what you're doing. If you think of it like a computer program, maybe their program runs faster than yours. There's something in theirs that's different than yours, where theirs is more efficient for some reason. The whole point of improvement is to is to figure out ways to get more efficient programs. If you want to think of it that way, if you're like a techie thinker, like I am, then you can think of it that way. I guess this is the time to point out that there are certain things linked in my Twitch channel. I'm going to try and put them in the description of the YouTube video as well. Yeah, okay. There's a book written by David Serlin called Playing to Win that you should read. Oh, that's the only one. That's the only one I have in my stream right now. But I'm going to get more. There is Juicebox wrote a projectile guide, which I'm going to put that up here under this video because I think it's important in this context. In terms of actually no, I'm going to put it up on the neutral game videos and in the description of every character that can utilize it. I'm trying to think. There's one more. So read Serlin's Playing to Win. What is the one? Oh, and watch the KOF Basics. The KOF tutorial. It's kind of old and outdated, but it still applies to KOF games today. So I'm going to try and find that video and link it for you in the description because it basically talks about some of the things that I've been talking about in this series, just in a more and in a different way. So that being said, that's going to be the end of this video. Oops, thanks for watching. Next up is almost definitely going to be the neutral game and how to approach. So in some senses, I should have done that one first, but I didn't want to because I think this is this video is the one that people are going to get wrong the most, this is the one that they're going to get hung up on for a long time is this concept. So hopefully, if you didn't understand it, or maybe you don't completely grasp this concept, then you need to go back and watch this video again, because there's a lot of stuff in here that is good. If you need a different source, go and watch Juicebox's KOF Basics with Gym videos. Where he talks about a lot of stuff that I've talked about in this series, a lot of stuff in this video, but he actually relates it to Jim, who is a guy he's talking with. So if you want a more personal view of these things, that's where you want to go. Also, his channel is full of good tutorials. I think Choice Sauce has some tutorials, but I haven't really watched them, so I don't know how good they are. As always, watch high-level videos, and you're gonna see this a lot. You're gonna see a lot. Oops. See a lot of this. See a lot of this. A lot of standing jabs getting tripped. And other things that I've talked about in this video, and you're gonna be like, oh my gosh, I would just watch that in that video. Oh, I had the image up so you couldn't see, but it's fine. All I did was sweep and jab, and the sweep beat the jab. So thanks for watching. If you have been, I really hope you learned something. If you didn't learn something from this video, then there's something wrong. You need to go back and watch it again, or maybe you need to go back and watch the previous videos. You need to go into training mode or something, because this is important. What I've talked about in this video is what's going to it's what's going to transition you from a kind of good player to an intermediate level player, which is where you need to be. Whew. 45 minutes. Go.